And don't go nowhere because I have a super guest coming on today, Carol Maraj, the mother of Nicki Minaj. That's right. She's going to tell you her story of what's going on in her life. And you need to hear this story. You need to be tuned in because what she's got to say could save you, all right, in a difficult situation with the criminal justice system. Listen, just don't go nowhere, all right? Don't go nowhere. We have an exciting guest coming on, so let's go to break. Okay, we're back. Hip Hop Hood Report, Part 2. What's hot in the hood? What's hot in the hood? I'm here today with a special guest, special guest, the mother of global superstar Nicki Minaj, Carol Maraj. Remember, Carol Maraj. She's the president of the Carol Maraj Foundation, but she's also a gospel singer, songwriter, and a playwright, and an activist. And she's here today to tell her story, sort of like a world premiere, never told before, never. Because you need to know what's going on in her life. You need to know what's going on with the case. We're trying to be fair and balanced, but nobody's heard the family side of the story. So here at the Hip Hop Hood Report, we want to bring it to you so that you can be the judge. But if you haven't heard both sides of the story, then you're going to hear it today. Flown in, 1,000 pages, transcripts, motions. I've been doing my homework, all right? And we need to get to the bottom of this. We need justice. We need to protect the Me Too movement, but we also need criminal justice reform. And so today, we're going to hear from Carol. We want her to tell her side of the story because you need to know what's going on. Welcome, Carol.
Well, thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's start it out. Let's talk about the foundation, all right? Tell the audience a little something about the foundation, please.
Well, we are advocates for women and families affected by domestic violence.
Okay. How many women have you come across in domestic violence that you've seen some really bad stories that just make you want to cringe?
Oh, hundreds, hundreds of women. It happens every day. It happens very often, So there are quite a lot of women out there, some in shelters, some who just stay at home and deal with it.
I think it's a noble thing that you've decided to reach out to other women. I know with your famous daughter running around the world, you could be running around the world with her, but I commend you for, taking a step back and giving back, creating a foundation, and looking out for women who may not have a voice. And that's another reason why I wanted to bring you on this show, because I've gotten to know you over the last couple of weeks, and you're not a regular mom. You're very spiritual, you're into your health, and after I started reading all this stuff, I've been following the case for a while since it happened, because it's part of hip hop, And once I began to really get deep into it and I got more information, I personally felt that justice wasn't done, all right? I got a lot of respect for the district attorney's office, Madeline Singers. She's doing a lot of good stuff in the community, the most community-minded DA that I know. And I have been talking to her staff on and on about the case because I want to make sure they get it right. Because if they don't get it right, it's going to compromise the Me Too movement. And we can't have that, Anita Hill, I remember that with Clarence Thomas, and everybody said, rah, rah, the things are going to change for women, didn't do nothing. So women are getting a second chance right now. So I kind of felt that it's important for us to get this case right, all right? And in order to get it right, we need to know all the facts. And so I thank you very much for coming on and sharing the information that you have so that the people can make their own decisions. I've seen a whole lot of stuff on the internet. I heard a lot of talk chatter, and the people they only hear one side of the story, and that really got me. You know what I'm saying? That there was only one side of the story out there. So I wanted to bring you on so you can tell your side of the story, all right?
Oh, sure.
So, okay, let's start with this. let's talk about the jurors. All right. So I heard there was an alternate juror and they wasn't dissatisfied. Can you elaborate with me on the juror situation?
Yes. As soon as that alternate juror was sent away, he spoke to the press.
Okay.
And he said that he would have freed Jelani Maraj because there was no evidence. Now, people are listening to him will want, probably ask, how you mean there was no evidence?
Okay.
He said, because every piece of clothing or evidence that was presented
Yes.
came back negative.
Wow.
And that was what he said. He also went on to say, why would they say, if his sister wasn't there, that means he was guilty? And why would they talk about what Wendy Williams say?
Wendy Williams?
Yes, that's what he said when it first came
wow.
out.
Okay.
However, later on, sometime in February, that same alternate juror signed an affidavit, did a huge report for the defense, and he stated exactly who said what prior to deliberations.
So you mean to tell me there was jurors talking about the trial?
Way before they deliberated, even though the judge told them to go home and speak to no one.
Right.
Well, you know very well that that's not going to happen. Even if a juror decides to turn his TV off and his phone off,
Right.
he's going to talk to his family.
Right.
He's going to still hear what's going on
Right.
in the media. So that alone was influence.
Okay.
So this juror, he helped us a lot by signing an affidavit and saying he specified and gave details of the numbers, the jurors, and the remarks that was made.
How many different jurors actually disobeyed the judge?
He called out about 4.
4 jurors. That's almost half the jury.
4, yeah, who said, and in his report, that's exactly what they said.
Wow.
So that's what that was the misconduct right there.
Well, here, what I have is the do's and the don'ts for the juries, which I'll put up on my screen. And it says, for the jurors, if you ever take jury duty, don't try to guess what the judge thinks about the case. Remember that rulings from the bench do not reflect the judge's personal views. Don't talk about the case or issues raised by the case with anyone, including other jurors, while the trial is going on, and don't talk about the case to the lawyers, parties, or witnesses about anything, and don't take notes. So these are the rules and the regulations. So you're saying that the jurors actually violated the rules and regulations?
Tremendously. They were talking, one of the jurors, he said, I can't wait to see his face when I bring him in guilty, and that bastard this, whatever. People were just, they were talking. But we have the affidavits to prove.
Right.
That they were busy talking about his sister, why he didn't take the stand. That means he was guilty. If his sister didn't show up, that means he was guilty. And they totally ignored the evidence.
Wow.
That there was no evidence to prove this man guilty.
Right.
So they went by their own mind, their own feelings, and they already had him guilty way before trial, the trial ended.
Right. And it's right here in the transcripts. Right here in the transcripts. Okay, so I'm quite sure your attorney, David Schwartz, has put that in the motion.
That's definitely in the motion.
For dismissal. Okay, all right. So
one more thing I want to say is, is that for a case of a high-profile case such as this, it was just my opinion, why Nassau County did not put these jurors away, sequestered somewhere.
Good point.
So that a child's father, a mother's son, will get a fair trial.
Right.
Why didn't they do that? To use the money that they're getting for these people, and make sure that this case was going to be tried fairly.
Right.
But that was not done.
I kind of agree with you on that. That's a good point that you made. They should have sequestered the jury somewhere because it is a high-profile case. It involves a celebrity, your entire family, and you know, and we don't want to waste money on a second trial. You know, not even this one. So if we're going to do the trial, we need to do it right. Right. So yeah, that's a good point.
That was one of my thoughts. Like, wow, they just. He told them every day, oh, don't forget, don't talk about this case. And I'm saying, yeah, right.
That's the judge. Okay, so guess what? We're going to go to our first break right now. We'll come right back, all right? Stay tuned. We got more with Carol Maraj. All right, we'll be right back. Hip Hop Book Report. All right, we're back here with the mother of global rap superstar, Nicki Minaj, Carol Maraj. She's telling her story here at Hip Hop Book Report. So, Carol, let me touch on something real quick. Now that we've gotten the juror piece out of the way, and I think that's a shame, but I'm quite sure that the district attorney will handle that and the judge. Let's talk about DNA, okay? DNA. So, from my readings here, DNA was not proven to be credible. There were 3 contributors to one DNA sample that Dr. Erica Zamak, the People's DNA expert, said. This means that it may not even have been the defendant's DNA. Come on, expound on the DNA.
Okay, yeah. The DNA expert for the people.
For the people.
Said, according to the transcript, inconclusive. Now, last time I checked, inconclusive tells me one cannot conclude or come to a decision.
Sure.
It was inconclusive. However, when the DA went up, however, suddenly the press, well, the first thing went out was that, yes, Maraj didn't have a match.
Right.
A day or so later, or in another newspaper, says it's a match. Transcript is saying inconclusive. The people's DNA expert was on our side.
Right.
And said, oh, they're, just so diluted. There's 3 other DNAs there.
Yeah, DNA can stay on clothes for days, even after you wash it.
And she still said inconclusive. However, the defense, explained to the press that yes, it's a match. So what I was thinking is, so an expert can come and give an expert result to something, and a DA or an attorney could just take something to the press to manipulate the world, to manipulate the words and manipulate others into believing something that is not so.
Wow. So the people's expert witness came in, checked out the DNA, said it's not a match. Matter of fact, said there's 3 contributors to one DNA sample, 3.
So there's 3
it's inconclusive.
It was inconclusive.
But the press said it's a match.
The press said it's a match, and the press where did the press receive the information?
Right, I get you. Okay, so you got that. The DNA was inconclusive. So I don't know what you guys are watching on the internet, on your websites and blogs, but transcript says inconclusive.
Transcript says inconclusive.
All right? So get that. That's another point.
And there were 2 other DNAs on that piece of garment that was totally ignored.
2 others ignored. Okay. So here it says the Dr. Zemak said DNA, wet semen, blood, and saliva can remain for days and be transferred from one item of clothing to the next, even after being washed in the machine. Very, very, very interesting. That's the people's DNA expert. Okay, so let me move on to.
But yet still, when the said shorts and his underwear, whatever was tested,
right,
everything came back negative. Everything was negative. The cloth that he used, the washcloth, everything was negative.
Right.
Because, and as you said, the DNA should remain as long as.
Sure.
But it was, however, everything says negative.
Everything.
Everything was negative.
Right. But somehow the press got
The
hold
press
of it.
said the DNA was a match. The press got that.
The press got that. Okay. Let me talk about Miss Jeanette. I guess she's a police officer. Dardo said evidence was placed by complaint. Can you expound
Oh, yeah,
on that?
I could say. She said that the plaintiff and her mother came from one room with the pajamas
Right.
and placed it on the bed. And I guess that they took photos after the fact.
Well, you mean the police didn't? Someone else moved?
No. The plaintiff and her mother
Right.
came from one room and presented this garment and said, "This is the garment." And they took a shot and was placed on my son's bed.
So it wasn't like the police came in, did a search of the house, found it themselves, and whatever.
They brought it.
Wow.
So it was evidence tampering even
Right.
there.
But here the police is saying that that's what happened. I don't think the police is even denying
the
it.
police didn't deny it.
They-
The police said they brought it for us.
Yeah, okay. So you're saying that could have been tampered with by the plaintiff and the daughter because the police are saying that it wasn't them that got the evidence.
They didn't get it.
Wow.
They brought it and placed it there.
Wow.
And it's in the transcript, so nothing I'm going to say here today is something that I'm making up. Everything is in the transcript, and everything is in the motions.
Right. Okay. Let me see. Let me go to Dr. Oh, okay. Dr. Miller said that there was no anal sex.
Yes.
Where did that rumor come from?
So the DA in her opening what's that, the statement, she said, she emphasized that. I could see all Jews turn and start looking at my son. I saw when their mouths dropped, their eyes were open when she said, "Oh, he's sodomized." If it's not, whatever she said, she was saying there was anal sex.
I seen that on the internet. I cringed.
So that made everyone said, "What a beast." Then there was a witch hunt. So it seems to me as I looked at this case, these words were purposely sent out to manipulate the public into seeing a good man as a beast. Because again, an expert says there was no anal sex.
Right.
But you were telling them, and you are not the expert in this field,
Right.
but you're telling the jurors there was anal sex.
Wow.
So that means you are saying you are the law.
Okay.
That you could just tell the expert that's not so. He said, "I checked her, I examined her, there was none." But you tell the world that, what did you do to my son there?
I think that when anyone goes to prison, the whole family goes to prison.
Absolutely.
But when I heard about the anal sex thing, I said this guy was a monster until I read the transcript. So
Wasn't there?
Yeah.
The doctor said absolutely none, no anal sex. When she said to the jurors that there was in her opening statement, and they all looked at him.
Yeah.
And I just said, "Oh my God."
Yeah. Yeah. He was
my
already.
God.
That was it.
That was
He was
it.
already tried right
He was
there.
already tried.
Okay.
Miss Lee, that's what she did.
Okay. Let's talk about the little 10-year-old boy Grant. Now I was reading, and he said he saw the sex and whatever, but I read here that the lights was off. What has he got? X-ray vision or what?
So he said again in the transcript that the lights were off. The light was off in the room. Yet still he drew a picture and said, this is the position they were in. When he was cross-examined, how was the room? It was dark.
Right.
If the room was dark, how did you see? That also was overlooked. There's so many things in the case was just overlooked in this witch hunt quest
Right.
to destroy Jelani Maraj. Overlooking what even the experts are saying, and just saying their own thing and doing their own thing in this case.
Right. I seen the motion. There's about 71 clauses of violations.
And
I
mistakes.
couldn't even bring it all out. I just want to touch on.
I heard that there were hundreds of mistakes in this case.
Right, hundreds. So let me get in one more before we go to break. When he got arrested, the officer said he was a gentleman, not a thug. So can you expound on his behavior?
Well, I expect my son to be a gentleman because that's how he was raised. And that's how many people and most people interact who had an opportunity to interact with Jelani. That's the word, that's the description. He's a gentleman. So I'm not surprised that the officer said he was a gentleman. He went, he said, okay, well, let me hear what's going on. He didn't have time to cuss out people and to act up. I raised him differently. So I agree with that.
Okay, so wow. Okay, so listen, let's take a break. Let's go to break. We're gonna come right back. We got more to come. Don't go away. All right. Okay, we're back. Hip Hop Hood Report. I'm here with the mother of Nicki Minaj, Carol Maraj. I always get that mixed up sometimes, but I got it right. And we're getting right back into it again. So listen, Carol. I want to go back on something that I kind of missed here. Mm-hmm. The shorts, right? So it says that they did not test the shorts, the ones that he was supposed to have worn during sex with the plaintiff. Ms. Charles said the pants admitted that the pants in the picture were not in the same condition as to when the police recovered them.
Right. That again signifies there's some kind of tampering going on. Could you tell me why the pants was different from when the police received it? Is it something went on there that we don't even know, but it is in the transcript that it was not in the same condition.
Not in the same, and that's the police. Okay, I want to clear that up. Okay, I want to talk about the judge took away the defendant's rights to cross-examine.
Well, the judge kept objecting, and the judge kept saying that that was a child.
Okay.
And the rape shield and all that was involved. However, there are some deep things that will come out very soon that will show the world that this particular child, just some deep things going to come out.
Oh, okay, so I want to touch on that. I know the rape shield law exists to protect the child. According to the motion that David read, he kind of said it shouldn't have applied in this because we have a possible extortion and there were other extenuating circumstances surrounding the case, and that if the jurors really didn't know the element of whatever was going on in the background, then they really couldn't make a competent decision, a fair decision. Mm-hmm. So I want to jump into Grant because I read something. Grant got beat after telling social worker about $25 million settlement. Could you expound on that?
Yes, the social worker turned as a witness for the defense.
Okay.
She explained that Grant, was in joy, saying we about to get.
Now, who is Grant? Just so my
Grant
audience.
is the then 9-year-old child who said he witnessed the act.
Okay, that's the plaintiff's sister, brother,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
So he said that, we about to get $25 million.
So I heard in the rumor that there was some kind of extortion going on. So that's probably what he was talking about.
So that's why, and even that went over the juror's head, because they were so fixed on getting Jelani Maraj, nothing that was said. So Grant is in school telling the social worker and who else he told, we about to get $25 million.
Where did he think he was getting $25 million from? And he told this to the social worker.
Yeah.
Well, where was this?
Jelani doesn't have 25, well, not even $1 million. Not even $500,000.
Wow. So, I mean, I don't think the kid made it up because the social worker said he said it, right?
Yeah, and she signed to that.
She signed to that.
She testified to that.
Okay.
But so Grant must have heard it in a discussion. He wouldn't just get in school so happy and we about to get $25 million.
So Grant thought he was caking off, huh? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Well, I don't know if it came from the social worker, but it's in the transcript that he got beaten severely for that.
Oh, he got beaten? What do you mean he got?
Oh, well, you know, the mother already told the court that she beat the children with electric.
Hold on a second. Back up for a minute. Did you say the mother told the court
that she beats the children with electric cords?
That's in the transcript?
That's in the transcript.
Beats them with a what?
Electric cord, brushes, and anything she finds that puts her hands on.
And did anyone arrest her? Because you can't beat a kid.
I was wondering how come a woman sat in a court and told, and you know, before so many people and a judge, she said, I beat them with electric cords, brushes, and anything I can put my hand on. I wonder why they let those children go home with that woman.
Yeah, I just mean.
If I was a judge, they weren't going home with her. I thought a lot of things in this case, like, wow, I just say, wow. But I understand that the politics about this case now. You so much on your witch hunt.
Right.
That you're supposed to be protecting this child. This is America.
Right.
A mother said, I beat them with electric cords. And did they go home that night to her?
They should have never even went
not.
home. They should have never went home.
I always wonder if they send them home with her.
I don't know well, I'm quite sure my people at the DA's office to catch up on that, and Child Protective Services, because if you get on a witness stand and say you beat your children, well, listen, you as the step-grandmother, what have you witnessed around the house?
Oh, boy.
I mean, you know.
I told them something.
And this is you personally talking.
Yeah. I witnessed the beatings. I witnessed, I was doing my hair one day and the little girl came out and she was ready to eat, and I said, where's your brother? And her eyes welled up with water and she was afraid. I said, where's your brother? And she said, he's in the corner. I said, what? She doesn't want to talk because she's afraid. So I jumped up and I told the girl, excuse me, she was doing my hair in my kitchen. I ran into that area that they stayed, and there was Grant in a tank top, in a short, with his underwear on, kneeling down in the cold cabana. We have no heat in that cabana. And he was sitting there. And his mother was on the phone, laughing, laying on the bed.
Well, how did she?
So in the meantime, she's not even paying attention to say, well, how long he's been there. He's on his in a cold place, just kneeling, half naked. I just said these words. You have 2 minutes before I call the police.
Wow.
He was outside in 1 minute. But I thought after, should I have just left him there and called the cops? Let them see for themselves.
He was in a shorts?
Yeah, he was in a tank top. His undershirt, it was a tank top, and his underwear. And this little boy was kneeling in the cabana, just waiting because he's under punishment.
Well, what did he do?
Shivering. Oh, he was bad in school. He was bad in school. He didn't get the right star. He got some demerit. I don't know. But that's what I witnessed, and much more.
So it sounds like, I hate to use the word, domestic terrorism?
Horror. You look at them and they will cringe because it's the way she will beat them. So
then that leads you to believe, after witnessing all that whatever was concocted about the rape and the kid, that was all staged?
Yeah, it was coerced, and they have to say whatever she tells them to say.
Right.
Because I live with them, and I know how afraid they will be. Sometimes after a beating, they wouldn't talk for 2 or 3 days.
Wow.
And I will hear the beating, I will bang the door, and then she will just say they were bad. I witnessed her with the shoes, with a heel.
Yeah.
Hitting him so many times in the one area.
A shoe with a heel?
Mm-hmm, it was a flat heel.
Wow.
And she said, go bathe, go bathe, go bathe. And with so much hits on his little body. And I started saying, well, if you're holding him, how can he go bathe? You're holding him and beating him.
Right.
How can he go bathe? And I saw her beat him so much that he peed himself.
Oh my God.
And that is, I wasn't allowed to say as much that day.
Right.
But they lived with me, and it was Miss Carol. I'll never forget the day he came to visit me after they got their house around the corner from me.
Mm-hmm.
And he wept and he screamed, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. Please, Miss Carol, I don't want to go back.
He didn't want to go back to his own house?
His snotty nose, and he's crying, and his sister saying, Gran, come on. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. Please, Miss Carol, please. I'll never forget that.
Well, and these are some of the things that the jurors were not allowed to hear.
They didn't hear that. They stopped me. I tried to elaborate a little bit that I witnessed the beatings, but I didn't say this one.
Right.
He cried. He said, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. Please, please, Miss Carol, snotty nose. 2 blocks down, he was still screaming, I don't want to go back.
Wow. Okay. I hope Child Protective Services hears this. I hope something is done, because we're doing this show because we want those kids to be protected at all costs, and also the Me Too movement. So, hey, let's go to break real quick, and then we're gonna come back and wrap this up. All right. So thank you for watching. We're gonna come right back and wrap this up.